Hey kiddos, for today's activity, we're going to draw a puppet theater. So grab your colored pencils and let's go. More precisely, you're going to need a large piece of paper to protect your table, and also a smaller piece of paper where we're going to do our drawing. We're also going to need one pencil to do our outlining, and then for our coloring, we're going to need a few colored pencils and some markers. And we're good to go. Okay, great. So let's start off with our pencil to draw the outline of our theater. So we have our piece of paper and our pencil, and we're going to start at the very tippy top here to draw the first curtain, because every theater has those kind of dramatic curtains. So I'm drawing 2 dots on the top, and then a line right across. This is where the curtains are going to go down, and 2 lines here at the bottom where the curtains are going to stop. So we're doing our first swoop between these 2 dots, and our second swoop between the lower 2 dots. Same thing on the left-hand side. First swoop between the 2 dots, second swoop between the next 2. Great. So now we're going to add a little bit more detail here by outlining the line of our stage. So everything below this line is the stage, and everything above is the sky. And then our 3 characters are going to be right here on the stage. Great. So now we're going to grab different shades of red here to do our big dramatic kind of curtains. Perfect. So I'm going to just color in my curtains. They're usually that velvety, rich red. Yeah, there's those heavy, heavy curtains that they have at the theater. Perfect. So I'm not sure what kind of colored pencils you guys are using, but mine are aquarella, which means that if I add a little bit of water to them, they become paint. So I'm going to show you guys a little bit later what that looks like if we want to use some of our colored pencil functionality. Perfect. So let's just hop over to the left side here. Keep them down with my fingers. And it's a lot easier if you use the side of your pencil and just kind of rub it back and forth. It'll actually sharpen your pencil at the same time. It's a little bit harder in the creases here, so I'm just going to go horizontally. Great, so let's do the upper part of our curtain. And follow the little border that we made initially with our pencil. Up and over. Looking good. And over here. I don't know if you guys have ever been to the theater, but there's always those big red heavy curtains. Perfect. So now we're going to just draw in some of the little darker spots so it looks really nice and rich. And then some of the lines here to make it look really nice and deep red. Perfect. Great, so now I'm going to take my brown magic marker here, and I'm just going to outline the outside of my curtain. So it's almost like a dark reddish brown, cranberry colored. Perfect. Now I'm just going to add the 2 little curtain holders. So they're like cylinders. They can just color right in. And then the same thing on the other side. So you might actually have some of these at your house. They hold in those curtains. And then at the theater, the curtains are so big that the curtain holders are also really big. Great. So now we can use our marker and add some of the creasing that's in the curtain. So just straight lines right down. Kind of the same way when you fold clothes, you know, there's that kind of creasing. So we're going to add that in. Straight down. Perfect. So now we can put our marker away and we can start coloring in our stage. So I think the stage is going to be brown since it's made out of wood. So everything below that line that we drew, just color that in brown. Nice and easy. Right around the little corners here. Back and forth. Right around the curtains. Perfect. I don't know if you've ever been to a puppet show, but it's pretty funny. I think the one we're going to do today is really cool too. So right along that top line, and a little bit slower, just around the edges, so we don't go over too much. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to show you guys what the aquarellum looks like. Oh, actually, first let's just take our blue here and let's finish our top. So the entire top part of the scenery is going to be almost like the sky. So just take a little bit of blue and just back and forth, back and forth. You know, most times at the theater, they have that really big background in the back. Usually they paint something like a mountain or, you know, they'll paint whatever kind of works with the theme of the show. So ours is going to be a big blue sky. Awesome. A little bit slower here around the borders. Okay, great. So here I'm taking one of my paintbrushes. I'm just taking a few little dips of water here. And look at how my colored pencil here, it becomes paint. How cool is that? So if you guys have these colored pencils at home, you can also use it in the actual scenery. And what I like about this paint is look how it creates like a different texture compared to the baby blue up top. Perfect. So back and forth, I'm just spreading some of that water around so my colored pencil becomes paint. It's like magic, isn't it? And if you don't have these at home, don't even worry about it. It's just a little extra added something. But they're definitely fun. Perfect. Okay, so our stage is pretty much done. And now we're going to draw our characters. So we basically have 3 characters. I'm going to take my pencil and we're going to outline them. So my first character is Bob. And Bob is a puppet where his head right here, just going to kind of draw a nice little round shape with the tip of your pencil about halfway upwards from the stage. And he's got a little hat, like a little black boxed hat, which goes straight above his head and straight through his forehead. And I'm just going to draw some of the details here in his face. Keep going below. I'm going to move my hand so you can see in a second. So his eyebrows, circles for his eyes, his shoulders, and then a kind of teepee at the bottom for his body. So you can put this on pause if you want to see this in a little bit more detail. So here we have our wolf. So to start our wolf, I'm starting here with his ears, and then down here for his muzzle and his mouth, which is going to go out. And basically our wolf here is attacking Bob. We got a little bit of scary teeth. Our third character over here is Lioness. And Lioness is going to help save Bob from the wolf. So I'm drawing a circle for his head, 2 lines for his eyebrows, 2 circles for his eyes, a nose, and a straight line for his mouth. 2 lines for his neck, another 2 lines on either side for his arms, and a triangle underneath for his body. And he's also holding a stick to scare away the wolf from Bob. And he's also wearing kind of a sombrero hat, which I drew like a rectangle and a square up top. Perfect. So here are our characters, and now we can color them in. So I'm taking some brown here, just a little brown colored pencil, and I'm just outlining right below Bob's neck and down right there, just kind of fixing the shapes that I've done. You can also use a marker. Perfect. So using my colored pencil, I'm just filling in the arms, filling in the other arm, closing off his sleeve here. Great, so now I'm gonna find another little color here for his face. So I found this light pink. You can also use orange, you can use brown, you can use yellow, whatever kind of color you want to make. And then a little bit for his hands too. I'm gonna fill in the little white spots. And now we're gonna make his hat, which I'm gonna use black for. So just re-outlining what I did with my pencil and filling it in. Perfect. Kind of looks Russian, doesn't he? Great. So using my same colored pencil, I can start drawing in some of his features like his eyebrows and his eyes. Adding a little more detail. So just going over all of the pencil marks that I made initially. So 2 almonds for his eyes, the dots, and a circle around for his face. And then I'm just going to outline his hands as well. Perfect. So now we have our wolf, our big bad wolf. I'm going to take a few colors from him. I'm going to take kind of a khaki green, a gray, and then also a brown, which I'm going to mix together because wolves are usually kind of like a various different shade of grayish, brownish green. And just color him in here over just the pencil that we did. Nice and smoothly, not too dark, just, nice and light. The lighter you color it in, the better for the wolf, since we're using a combination of 3 colors. Perfect. Putting my khaki aside, I'm going to go over him with gray. Look at that. It's cool, isn't it, when you see all the colors kind of coming out between each other. And then a little bit of brown here right up top. Gives him really cool shade. Looks like a real wolf. All right, now I'm going to outline my wolf with my black colored pencil. Just going over what I did initially, and his mouth, and his nose, and his teeth, which are just like little triangles coming out of his mouth. Tiny little triangles. And his eye, which is like an almond with a dot in it. Perfect. So now we have Linus. So I'm going to take my brown colored pencil, and I'm going to color in his bat, which is supposed to scare the wolf. I'm just coloring around his hand so it looks more realistic. And then a little peach for his hand and his other hand, and also for his face. You can just draw right over the facial features. Perfect. So I'm going to color in his body, take a little bit of red right over there, his sleeves. Kind of looks like he's wearing a dress, but most puppets have to wear dresses since they have the puppeteer's hand, which is hidden underneath them. Perfect. And then his sleeve. And then we're going to get a little bit of black for his face. Just going over his eyebrows and his eyes, just to make him really pop. Outline the face. And then I'm going to grab my brown to color in his hat. Color it in. Perfect. Just try and stay between the lines. Awesome. So let's take a look at our puppet theater. Great job, guys. So kiddos, here's the drawing of my puppet theater, and I hope you had a great time making it. I'd love to see what your drawing looks like, so please send them in to me at tutokid.com. Hope to see you soon.